The number one mistake people make in relationships. Hey, everybody, and welcome back. I'm Edison. Welcome to the Cliff Diver's Edge, taking you from unhappy to passionately, joyously happy within 30 days. What is the number one mistake people make in relationships, and how to foresee this, plan ahead for this, and to steer your synchronized diving relationship smoothly through this? Hey everybody, we are all trying to improve our lives and scale up our relationships. And I'm honored to talk to you today on relationships, people, talking, effectively working with your partner to a more cleaner, passionate, radiant relationship together. Take this time to like and subscribe down below to be the first to receive new videos and podcasts and to grow and scale this beautiful, enriching community, the Cliff Diver's Edge. I really appreciate it and I'm really grateful that you're here today. Imagine standing on the edge of a cliff. Maybe it's 10 or 15 feet down. And then down there is a beautiful, crystal clear ocean water. Your favorite beach, wherever that is. Next to you, your partner. You are both synchronized diving legends today. You're both doing the exact double somersault with two twists, the dive. Together in sync, exact mirrors of each other. The wind whipping around both of you, your hearts pounding with fear and excitement. This is what a relationship often feels like. Thrilling. A terrifying leap into the unknown with your partner next to you. The exhilaration of love and the fear of vulnerability, fears, joys, togetherness, and the hope for a deep connection all blend into one intense experience. Then mid-flight, you're off, and you're out of sync and you missed a twist. You're way off the pace of your diving partner next to you. Then that led into a battle to get connected again, to feel in one again, and you never caught up or never synced up again, separated in distance. You both splash and enter the water at different times and at different positions. But what if I told you that the number one mistake in people in relationships is something that can be addressed and transformed? This podcast will explore how to breeze through your synchronized diver's mid-flight struggles, challenges, and unhappiness into a life of togetherness, connection, and love by tackling the critical issues of the mistakes people make in relationships. Are you in a relationship? Are you married? Are you in a sport with another teammate, or like Bev I was mentioning, a synchronized diving where you have to talk, listen, adjust, readjust, understand your teammates or your partners? It takes years of communicating, listening, understanding. Each of you have different viewpoints, what you want, how you want things done, different personalities, different backgrounds, different styles, all immersed in this. How do we get better? How do we grow and bond more lovingly? Clients of mine were working through their relationships both on the extreme sides of training and raising two dogs and two cats in the family. One casually relaxed and the other strict and disciplined on training. Another client of mine is working through issues on one being controlling and always wants to be together, and the other is a free spirit, so she loves groups and events and time with friends. Others of you may deal with issues as work versus playtime, hoarding versus minimalistic, money spending, child raising, sleeping schedules, and things like that. All built in are this thing we call a relationship, right? Building a relationship with another partner or a group if you're in a group and activities. Effective communication is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship, and without it, misunderstandings and assumptions can lead to resentment, hurt feelings, breakups, separations, divorces, lawsuits, and all things that are imaginable. Imagine trying to perform a synchronized dive without communicating with your diving partner. Well, that's what a relationship without good communication really feels like. And that's why the number one mistake people make in relationships is the importance of communication. Communication is not just about like talking, it's about understanding and being understood. It's about creating a safe space where both partners can express their thoughts, their feelings. They could feel like open or secure in expressing themselves and their needs without like fears or judgments or rejections. When communication breaks down, it creates a chasm that can be a very, very difficult bridge to mend. Some common communication pitfalls include like not listening, interrupting, blaming, not stepping into their moccasins or their shoes as far as seeing where the other person is coming from, avoidance, and thinking everything is okay, and making assumptions. So, for example, one partner is speaking and the other might be thinking about their response instead of truly listening. And this can lead to a misunderstanding and feels of being unheard, not listened to, or sort of like on the realms of rejection. So improving communication requires effort and practice, role playing, and things like that. Setting up different play scenarios with each other. Here are some practice tips. Active listening. Focus on what your partner is saying without planning your response. Show that you're listening through nodding, eye contact, and verbal affirmations. The parrot or the mirror technique. Listening for their last words and repeating them back to them. This goes like this: if I understand you correctly, you felt hurt, rejected, and reminded you of your mother. Another example is, was that correct? You thought I said blank. Using I statements instead of saying you never listened to me. Ever hear your partner repeatedly saying you always, you never, you don't? Pretty confrontational, huh? Like they're blaming and pointing the finger always at you. Try something like, I feel unheard when you interrupted me. This reduces the defensiveness and opens up a more constructive dialogue. When I hear you say blank, it triggers my inner child to blank. Those are I statements. I was out with my girlfriend last week with a few couples, and I could instantly tell what other couples had that deep connection, that wink in their eye, that they did the work. While the rest of the night, my girlfriend and I observed couples talking over each other, interrupting each other, putting each other down, and making fun of each other, disagreeing with the other partner, and using a lot of you always, you never statements. Definitely out of sync, disconnected, and a separated synchro diver, I observed. A great thing to do is setting aside time for conversation. Make it a habit to have regular, meaningful conversations without distractions. And this could be during a walk, over dinner, or before bed, and specifically scheduled times, discussing what went right, what felt great, what went wrong, what ways both you and your partner can improve. And just for me, just knowing couples that have been together for over 40 years, I've been seeing this as almost like a commonality, like a thread in marriage that has that long run, long term, lasting effect. Specifically, scheduling conversation time. It's not like interrupted during kids' soccer or when rushing out to do work. Specific times are great because each partner can plan ahead, have notes, and give 100% undivided attention. So now that I covered the number one mistake people make in relationships, let's jump into number 2 and number 3 for the mistakes here on the Cliff Diver's Edge. Are you sad right now and have that firing, burning desire to become passionately happy? Are you looking to tear down the overgrown weeds that have plagued your life to discover your truest path and purpose so you can joyously dive in to your own glowing passion within 30 days? Well, hello, I'm Edison, and inside my metamorphosis from blurred to crystal clear Cliff Diver's Edge Academy, I designed a place for you to find your passion and purpose within 30 days. It's for the people looking to take one step, just that small little step towards having a reason, finding and doing what you love, waking up with a zest and a radiance and a purpose and a reason, and radiating the world with your light. And how cool is this? To ultimately give back, shine, and level up the family and friends around you. Inside the Academy answers the questions that men, women, husbands, fathers, wives, mothers, and all single people have about fears, worry, depression, no purpose, hating your job, in a rut, and so much, much more. Each section and module is filled with practical strategies you can use right away in your day to celebrate you and see it dramatically increase your own health, love, strength, and joyous radiance within 30 days. You are worth the work. To check out the program down below. Number 2 mistake people make in relationships is taking your partner for granted. That was the number 2 on the surveys. Taking your partner for granted. Now this could happen right off the get-go. It could happen a few weeks in. It could happen a few months into the relationship, or it can happen long-term, 1 year in, 3 years in, 5 years in. In my relationship, I acknowledged that just in a few weeks, it was easy to become like compliant, right? Where certain things were expected or taken advantage of. It's easy to become complacent in a long-term relationship. However, taking your partner for granted can erode the connection and make them feel unvalued. Imagine planting a beautiful garden and then neglecting it. Eventually, the flowers will wither, and here come all the weeds. Right? The longer we go, and the less appreciation we do, right? The further and further we become like distant and separated. The compliance trap, as a lot of people call it, the compliance trap. Complacency often creeps in unnoticed, just like my previous video on the itsy bitsy things. And we were talking about the bark beetles that destroy the 2,000-year-old sequoia trees, the 300-foot monstrous trees, right? It's just a little itsy bitsy things, right? The complacency, the taking advantage of, or the neglecting of doing certain things. So you might stop doing the little things that once you made your partner feel like special, like leaving sweet notes or planning a surprise or doing surprise dates, surprise little gifts, doing travel dates, getaways, little picnics, one-day vacations, and things like that. And over time, this can lead to a sense of disconnection, complacency, and averageness. Some signs that you're taking your partner for granted might include like lack of appreciation, not acknowledging their efforts, or taking their contributions for granted. Routine over romance. Falling into monotonous routines, work routines, children, if you have newborns, 1-year-old, 3-year-old, baby routines, without making an effort to keep the romance alive, scheduling little dates, scheduling little 1 hour, 3 hour breakaway sessions, neglecting quality time and spending less time together, and prioritizing other activities over your own relationship. I know for a past relationship of mine, it was my girlfriend and her mom's time together, prioritizing that over our time and our bonding and doing things we like to do together. Rekindling appreciation involves sort of going out and making an effort, making a conscious, really strive to show your partner that you value them. A few years in, 5 years, 10 years in, some things that make them feel so special. So here's some suggestions. Expressing gratitude. Regularly tell your partner what you appreciate about them. If they're auditory, if they're visual, if they're kinesthetic. It could be something small like making them coffee or a sandwich or supporting them through tough times. So some people that are kinesthetic, it's touch, hugs, spending close time together. Other people that are auditory, like hearing the compliments, like hearing the love statements. Planning special dates. This is a big one, right? Just planning those special dates. Making sure that we get rid of work. Maybe you're working 50 hours a week and she's working 60 hours a week, and right, and you have kids and pets, and so making sure we really put those dates and scheduled in there specifically. Plan those special dates. Surprise your partner. Keep that surprise alive with date nights, little camping trips, getaways, and things like that. And it doesn't have to be extravagant. The thought and effort matter more, right? Little surprises. Wasn't expecting things. Give thoughtful gifts. Small thoughtful gifts can show your partner that you're thinking of them, even though they're away at work, even though you're not going to see them till tomorrow. And it could be their favorite snack, a book they've been wanting to read, or a handwritten letter. Design weekly check-ins. This is one of my favorite. Creating a love language list and being open to expressing your wants, needs, and emotional support just on those scheduled times. Every Saturday at 4 o'clock is our relationship time. What worked? What's really going well? What can we improve on? What things came up this week that we can work on over the month? Some of our goals, where we'd like to be in 6 months, in a year. Overcoming fears, opening up to each other, right? That's never easy as well, right? So things like that, making sure that that weekly time is scheduled. Designing, almost like designing a house, right? You're putting it all together, putting the foundation together. The sides, the flooring, the windows, the doors. Everything that makes a relationship so special. The number 3 mistake people make in their relationships is clinginess, control, and jealousy. And I thought this would be, in fact, number 1 and number 2 because of the clients I worked with, and one of my friends was married, and that clinginess and everything that I observed. But years ago, the women I was attracting were very clingy and controlling. I had to end the relationships because these women thought they could tell me what friends I could and couldn't hang out with, and what sports I couldn't do, and wanted to cling on to me like 7 days a week. So being overly clingy and controlling can suffocate a relationship and lead to resentment and a lot of other emotional issues as we grow and bond together in a relationship after 6 months or a year. So imagine holding on to a bird very, very tightly, and instead of feeling secure, it feels trapped and desperate to escape. In the world of cliff diving, it's like your coach only tells you to practice your dives off the 1 and 3 meter, but you say and sort of ask your coach, but hey, how about the 5, 7, and the 10 meter, coach? And he says, no, you can't go over there. Stay on that board for the whole year. The impact of clinginess and control is definitely a big issue to get through for relationships with your significant other. Clinginess and control often stem from insecurity and fear of losing a relationship. However, these behaviors can have the opposite effect, pushing your partner away instead of bringing them closer. Recognize unhealthy behaviors very, very upfront or in the beginning of a relationship. Like I said, those weekly check-in relationship times are very, very important. It's important to recognize that if you're being too clingy or controlling. Some signs of this include constantly checking in, frequently calling and texting your partner to know their whereabouts, and jealousy over friendships, feeling threatened by your partner's friends and wanting to limit their interactions. Lack of trust, doubting your partner's loyalty without any concrete reasons. Fostering independence and trust. A healthy relationship, it requires a lot of balance between togetherness and independence. So here are some cliff diving tips to give you and your partner some space. Encourage your partner to spend time with their friends and pursue their interests. If you're overly clingy, wow, what a beautiful surprise it would be to say, you can do this, here. Make sure, go out and enjoy your friends on here. If you're overly calling and texting your partner, your wife, your husband on their times, they're with their friends or they're at events and things like that. What a surprise that would be to take your phone and turn your phone off for the night. Where they'll feel that freedom and that safety and that trust that builds from both of you. So that really can bond a great relationship. And this shows that you trust them and respect their individuality. And there's probably a lot of other examples you could probably think of as well. And if you'd like, throw them down in the comments. So right now, if you haven't already, like and subscribe down here for the Cliff Diver's Edge. But throw in some comments as far as what's worked for your relationships, and especially for some of the things we were talking about. Complacency, taking advantage of your partner. And for this one is clinginess. What you did to overcome those things and how you work together to build a better, more loving relationship. Building trust. Trust is built through consistent and honest communication and actions. So be reliable and keep your promises. Maintaining your own interests is very, very important. I know growing up, my neighbors were like that as well. Very, very clingy. For my neighbors, the wife or the missus was always asking where's he at? Where were you at? I remember. So it's always interesting as far as the clinginess of relationships for somebody to enjoy their softball games or their bowling games or their night outs. Sometimes they'll do the happy hours. So just building trust. So giving your partner the freedom to enjoy their own interests without any overstepping their boundaries and your clinginess. Having your own hobbies and interests not only enriches your life, but also makes you a more interesting and fulfilled partner. Whether you're starting for a few months, a few years in your relationship, it's a nice idea to set up weekly check-ins, as we were saying before. How you feel, what's good, what's bad, what's really worked, how you felt in certain situations, and what can we improve on, and what are some requests and boundaries. Those continuously always grow a great, fulfilling relationship, a nurturing, loving relationship. Those are the top 3 mistakes what people make in relationships. So I wanted to cover in this Cliff Diver's Edge, this podcast here, a lot of the fears. There's a lot of fears in synchronized world of diving relationships. Comment down below what fears you brought into your relationship, what fears you and your partner acknowledged and worked through. I think the community and people would really like to feed off that and learn and grow from each other on there. So if you can, shoot some comments down below as far as some of the fears that you brought into your relationship. Some people call it baggage that you had to work through, that you had to communicate through. Maybe it wasn't easy, but you worked through it and got through it. I jumped into cliff diving predominantly on the basis of facing and accomplishing fears. And as I got into it, just the first few weeks and few months, it was about action, right? It was about no matter how high those springboards are, the platforms were, visualizing that dive, then you only have 20 or 30 seconds to do that dive. So it was really like, think about it, and go, right? You got to go and move quickly. So it really catapulted my life to seeing fear, but then like blasting through it. And I call it springboarding through it, taking that action and springing through it, not overthinking things, not, using the mind and using procrastination and thinking your way out of going to the gym, eating healthier and stuff like that. Right. Just really a great sport to face your fears, but then blast through our fears. My girlfriend and I had so many fears when we both brought into just on day one, of meeting and starting dating. Fears of past events, past hurts, past like exes. Giving too much, not receiving anything in return, the fears of talking and speaking of boundaries and expectations, and all 30 or 40 years of conditioning and parent issues and things like that. Facing your fears and transforming unhappiness are crucial steps towards a radiant and loving relationship. Imagine using the energy of your fears as a springboard and a catapult to leap into a brighter, more fulfilling life. Fear is a natural part of any relationship, just like cliff diving, right? We see a platform, there's going to be some fear on it, whether it's the elements, it's raining, it's snowing, it's, freezing outside, or, water conditions. Just like the fears of a relationship, of vulnerability, your physical attributes, how you look, right? Your self-esteem and self-confidence, fear of rejection, fear of stating your boundaries and what's acceptable, what's not, fear of loss, fear of the other one leaving and being lonely. The key is to confront these fears head on, just like cliff diving. That's why we're all cliff divers here, and I'm so proud of everyone being a cliff diver. Right? If we're on a springboard, we take that 3-hop hurdle and off we go, off the springboard. We're toes over the ledge on the 5, 7, or 10 meter. We got 20 seconds to 30 seconds to do that dive. Mentally rehearse it, and off we go. Recognizing and naming your fears to your partner. You can make lists, you can make creative like artwork. I've seen a lot of partners do. They make funny words for different things. So just communicating with your fears, overcoming those together with your fears creates so much bond and trust together. You can create a deeper understanding and strengthen your bond, and gradually expose yourself to situations that trigger your fears. Over time, this can reduce the power over you, just like cliff diving, right? We do a forward somersault off a 1 meter, then we're going to do it off a 3 meter, then we're going to do it off a 5 meter, and then once we do those, we're going to go back to the 1 meter and do a double somersault off the 1 meter, get it good, then we're going to take it up higher and do the 3 meter. Over time, we're just gradually exposing yourself to situations and fears with your partner and overcoming that. Unhappiness in a relationship can be an opportunity for you to grow and have a deeper connection. Instead of avoiding or suppressing it, use it as a catalyst for positive change. Reflect on what is causing your unhappiness and state it together in your weekly sessions. What's causing your unhappiness? This situation, right? These things are coming up for me. Being safe in a safe space where you could talk and communicate that with your loving partner. Is it a specific behavior, a lack of communication, something not met, or needs not met? Now, once you have identified the source, take proactive steps to addressing it. And this might involve having a difficult conversation, seeking therapy, or making lifestyle changes, schedule changes, time changes, different things like we were saying, taking advantage of our partner, different things that we could throw in the midweek. Maybe we have a Wednesday, middle of the week, over the hump day that was so special to acknowledge both of us working so hard, putting the hours in and making money for, the bills and the kids and everything else, right? Gratitude. A radiant and loving relationship is built on a foundation of trust, communication, and mutual respect. It's about creating a partnership where both individuals feel valued, supported, and loved. Find joy in the small moments and even take the time to surprise your significant other in some small moments, creating happy memories together. Laughter and playfulness can strengthen your bond. Love is not just a feeling, it's an action. Show your love through small, consistent gestures. This could be a kind word, a thoughtful act, or simply being present and attentive. It could even be really understanding someone's personality and their love language, right? And really understanding, how they build, what they like to hear, what they like, what they've been conditioned to the last 30 years, and how we could see and understand that and give more of that back. Supporting each other in their growth, takes a lot. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of trust. We were talking about fears right now, and it takes a lot of opening up, right? In new relationships. Maybe you just came out of a relationship, you're in a new relationship. So we got to encourage and support each other's personal growth and dreams. A healthy relationship allows both partners to flourish individually and together. Like we were talking about the bird, in the hand, or the coach, the cliff diver, only doing a 1 meter, right? We want to both together, grow and expand, and scale up. So in conclusion and in summary, the number one mistake people make in relationship is poor communication. So by addressing this issue, you can transform your fear and unhappiness into a life of radiance and love. So remember to communicate openly, appreciate your partner, and give each other space, right? We're talking about clinginess and stuff. So give them space and allow them to freely and joyfully explore life with their friends and face your fears together. That's a huge one here on the Cliff Diver's Edge, right? Face your fears together, whether that's in communication, step-by-step, like little action things, maybe things to work on for 1 month and 3 months or 6 months, fears and what we can overcome, in 6 months. Maybe it's opening up. Maybe it's letting go of a clingy mom or dad in the parenting, things like that. Everyone has issues on stuff like that, the fears that they could catapult through as a cliff diver. These steps will help you build a strong, loving, and fulfilling relationship. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this beautiful Cliff Diver's Edge channel. If you found this video useful, please comment below. I love hearing from you and sharing with your friends and family. I love the impact of this community has, the whole community of Cliff Diver's Edge. So share with you your number one mistakes in relationships. Was it the number one on communication? Was it number two as far as taking advantage of our partner and that complacency? Or was it number three? I'd love to hear and see your relationship and grow from you. Thank you so much. I'll enjoy spending the next video with you, and we'll see you then.